Good evening, everyone. This is your evening news recap, your nightly news podcast on all the news that I come across throughout the day, giving you my take as somebody who aspires to be a politician in the near future. Hopefully, all you guys are doing wonderful. Hopefully, all you guys are doing well. Today is September 6th, and it is Saturday. Hopefully, all you guys are having a wonderful weekend. It's been a pretty short day in the news world, as weekends tend to go. You guys all know that by now, but hopefully, all you guys are doing well. If you're new here, please subscribe, as we are on our way to 300, or we're on our way to 500 subscribers technically, but we're really close to 300 subscribers. I believe we're about 7 or 8 away. So if you're new here, please subscribe. I would really appreciate all the support in getting us to 300 subscribers and 500 subscribers eventually. With that being said, though, let's get into the news from today. Moving into the Trump administration segment, as we do, we have a couple of topics here today. The first one being Trump is considering strikes on Venezuela. Trump is weighing the options to carry out military strikes in Venezuela against drug cartels. This comes as the U.S. has sent substantial military power to the Caribbean, and as numbers increase by the week. Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, said in an interview on the topic, "This is a counter-drug operation. We are going to take on drug cartels wherever they are operating against the interests of the U.S. We're going to end up at war with somebody by the end of this year. That is my full-on prediction. We are going to be, as a country, in a war by the end of the year. Even though we're in multiple already in one way or another, there is going to be an official war by this administration by the end of the year. Guarantee it. It's insane that Trump was supposed to be the anti-war candidate, but we're here. We're also going to see either insane amounts of propaganda about this war or hear no information at all. That's kind of how they tend to go in this country. But I feel like it's going to be, on another level than it has previously. The real question is, though, how many years will it take us to lose this war? In other news, Trump says Chicago is about to experience the Department of War. Trump is once again threatening Chicago for immigration and crime crackdown with National Guard troops. In a post on Truth Social, Trump wrote, "I love the smell of deportations in the morning. Chicago is about to find out why it's called the Department of War." Below, there was also an attached AI image of Trump in a general's uniform. Outside of Trump invading Chicago or attempting to, the man thinks he's so cool, and he's not at all. These AI images that he posts frequently are so dog shit. We saw the Superman one, we saw the King one, we've seen all of them. They are so dog shit. Genuinely, I've been very clear on multiple occasions that I am not a fan of AI or robots, and I really hate the use of AI, especially for images or art or things like that. Just hire an artist at this point. There are so many people who are amazing at art and just want an opportunity, and I'm sure he could find someone within MAGA as well if he really wanted to. If Trump wants to create jobs, boom, I just gave him one, a White House propaganda artist. It's not that hard, and it fits in this administration perfectly. At the very least, use an actual person doing their own art rather than some AI. Granted, they're probably using AI because Trump doesn't want to pay someone, but come on, dude, really? I am not a fan of AI or robots, really. I think they're great tools if you use them as a tool, but as I've said on multiple occasions, I believe that they can also be used to strip away from things that people should be doing, like jobs, like teaching, so many things that people should be doing themselves. Robots should not be doing. Robots should not be teaching the next generation. Robots, really shouldn't be delivering food. I understand the process, and I think that's a little bit of a different kind of one. But at the end of the day, I feel like if a person can do a job, it should not be done by a robot. And a person can very much so deliver food. So in my opinion, I would rather receive my food from a person, but I do understand the argument from the food delivery service at least. But overall, fuck robots and fuck AI, truly. In other news, JD Vance doesn't give a shit about war crimes. JD Vance is defending the use of the military for killing cartel members who bring drugs into the United States, saying it was the highest and best use of the U.S. military. It's really interesting to say about the strongest military in the world. In a post on Twitter, Brian Krasenstein, an influencer who is widely against the Trump administration, said, "Killing the citizens of another nation who are civilians without any due process is called a war crime." This prompted JD Vance to respond by saying, "I don't give a shit what you call it." To be vice president of the United States and that you say that you do not give a shit about committing a war crime is a big deal, a massive fucking deal. And it shows that this administration has no regard for anything at all, which we all know already, and that's not shocking at all. But it is a massive problem. This administration attacked another country unprovoked, which of course isn't the first time we've seen that. But it is genuinely insane that there are no repercussions for that. The trials against the United States a few years down the line are going to be horrifying to watch, but we must make sure we can at least educate the future generations of this country so we don't see shit like this happen again. Because in no world should the global police force, if that's, even what we really are at this point, be invading countries or attacking countries against their own will. Especially when there's no real reason to. I mean, we could talk about this boat that was struck recently the other day. They told us it was cartel members, but I believe there was a New York Times article that came out that said that they weren't cartel members and they were just civilians. And if that's the case, that makes it a million times worse. Granted, it's already bad that they are killing people of another country that, we shouldn't be killing in the first place, because we shouldn't be killing people from anywhere in the first place. But that would be so much bigger if it was, civilians rather than the people that they actually claim to be targeting. In other news, Trump's Department of Justice wants to keep two of the Epstein associates secret. The Justice Department has asked a federal judge overseeing the Epstein case to deny the request from NBC to release the names of at least or up to associates who received large payments from Epstein in 2018. The Department of Justice claims this is for privacy concerns expressed by the individuals. The first associate received $100,000 from Epstein, and the second received $250,000, both in Epstein. This record became public in 2019, after he was arrested, but does not name the names of the associates or the associates who received the money. I don't know why I said associates twice there. Sorry. English. It's hard, isn't it? Anyways, MAGA is going to see this and say it doesn't matter at all, which is insane. But, that's just what you're supposed to expect from them at this point. These files need to be released, and we need to know everyone who is connected to Epstein, because none of them should be allowed to just walk around. They should be in prison for life. He was a monster, and everyone connected to him is just as bad, and there might even be some people connected to him who are even worse. And all of them should be in prison for the rest of their life. They should not be allowed to walk free day after day. They should be sitting in a jail cell for the rest of their life. Anyways, moving on into our other news segment, today we have two topics. The first one being a silent killer parasite has spread to 8 states. Authors of a new study are calling the Chagas disease, which is a parasitic infection, to be classified as an endemic after human cases have been reported in 8 states throughout the country. A study published by the CDC calls for classifying the disease, which can be life-threatening, as an endemic in order to improve surveillance and research in public health responses. The authors said acknowledging the endemicity of the Chagas disease in the United States is crucial for achieving global health goals. For those who don't know what an endemic is, it is a disease in a population based on geographical area, and around 20 to 30% of those who contract this disease may experience heart issues, including heart failure and even sudden death. This is going to be, or this sounds super scary and is very, very alarming. But, from what I've heard, it's been around for a while, and we are seeing an increase of human cases now, but, there have been human cases for a while, and they're just looking to make more studies on this, but I'm not too fully sure on that. The only states with human cases right now are California, Arizona, Texas, Louisiana, Tennessee, and Missouri, but 31 states total have reported at least the triatomines, I think that's how you say that, that contribute to the disease. With the current way the health department works under RFK, Jr., I am worried because that man has no clue in the world what he's doing. But, hopefully we don't have to worry too much about that. In other news, moving on into our final topic for tonight, thousands are marching in DC against Trump. Thousands marched in Washington, D.C. in one of the largest demonstrations against Trump's takeover of the Capitol. It had huge banners, including one in red reading, "End the D.C. occupation" in both English and Spanish, which I believe is, or in my opinion at least, that is such a not only important thing, but such a loud statement. Protesters marched 2 miles from the Meridian Hill Park to Freedom Plaza, which is near the White House, where they eventually stopped, and I believe they continued to speak for a little bit afterwards. Oh, I just completely closed my entire browser. Oops. Okay. Anyways, I'm so glad to see people go out and protest every weekend continuously. We need to continue using our voices to, fight for justice for one, but also to speak out against what is wrong. This administration wants to hurt, harm, and destroy everyone in this country, and we must put a stop to it. And using our voices is the best way to, contribute to that. Using your voice, going out and protesting, creating content like you're watching right now is one of the best ways to speak out against this administration and make your voices heard. That's why I continue to make content like this every day for you guys, but also why so many people continuously want to fight for not only their rights and yours, which is a super important thing to do. With that being said, though, I hope you all enjoyed today's video. It has definitely been an interesting day in the news world, but it's been a day, that's for sure. If you're new here, please subscribe. As mentioned, we are on our way to 500 subscribers, and I would really appreciate all the support. It would be so cool. So if you are new here, please subscribe. Outside of that, if you're on Substack, please also consider subscribing. All funds go to me. They will help me pay for the things that I need to pay for in college, like food, like clothing, like all of that. But if not, you can always subscribe for free. I truly do appreciate all forms of support on this content. It means the world to me. Thank you guys so much for watching today's episode, and I will see you all in the next one.